Hey guys, what's going on? So I get that it went and go in my ear for some reason, my glasses. Let's talk about today WrestleMania. Welcome to Breakdown. Very awkward way to start Breakdown. I'm awkward all the time. You should know this by now if you watch the channel. Um, anyways, so I want to do a review of a couple of matches and stuff like that and talk in depthly. And I've already did and I thought I did Shane and AJ, but evidently I didn't. If I did, and I just recap whatever, I'm probably just made us not talk about that match because well, no, never mind. I already talked about it. I remember. Okay, so far I have talked about Brock and Goldberg, AJ Shane, um, Dean and Corbin, Baron Corbin, and I've also talked about Bray and Randy Orton. So all four of those matches are covered. So I've got SmackDown almost covered, and some of these I might not go into detail because there's really nothing to talk about. But I did like doing this because of, hey, if I had an idea, why wouldn't I, talk about it? So today we're going to talk about Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. So this is a match that really it shouldn't be happening, and I'm not sure. Here's my thing. And a lot of people think. Um, it should have been this way, I believe, is that it should have been Bray going over Undertaker um, at that WrestleMania, and it shouldn't have been Brock to beat the Undertaker. It should have probably ended in a brawl or something like that, and it should have been maybe that he was the only one that could give Undertaker a run for the money at WrestleMania, and it came oh so close, and that should have been the premise. Bray Wyatt should have been stealing the aura of the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That's what it should have been. Um, so I kind of wonder if it was a mistake. I still wonder. I want to know, like, from Vince McMahon, like, what does he think about the streak? I don't know if it was talked about on the Stone Cold podcast. Um, I think they talked about it, but I think he basically said it was Undertaker's choice. But I don't know. If if he had a concussion during the match, that kind of makes me wonder, like, well, then how could he have agreed to, unless they match like I'm getting my tongue wrapped around my words. It, how could he have known he was going to get a concussion? Um, and unless they before the match happened, they determined that he was going to lose the streak. That's the only thing. And then he happened to get a concussion during the match. That's kind of weird, though. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think it was that bad of a match. A lot of people say it wasn't that great of a match. I thought it was a pretty good match to lose the streak in. I don't think it was that bad, actually. So I just don't think it was the right time. Um, he should have lost the streak to Bray um, or to Punk. But with Punk, since Punk left, that would have been really, really bad. Um, but Punk's already over really, really bad. Anyway, that's a whole other video. But let's talk about Roman Reigns versus Undertaker. So Roman Reigns, a whole other video about Roman Reigns, but we're gonna kind of dive into it a little bit on this video. Um, Something ain't right with him. They're not booking him right. They're not understanding that, well, they messed up anyway. They messed up big time. Um, the year they had him win the Royal Rumble, it wasn't. He shouldn't have done that. Um, it was wrong for them to do that. Um, because they put Daniel Bryan, I believe, in the Royal Rumble that year. And when they did that, they really sent home, kind of hit home for, I think, the fans because we were already embroiled in the WrestleMania from last year, and we were still feeling like Daniel Bryan should be our world champion. And I understand that we knew he was hurt, but when he came back, he should have immediately got a shot at that world championship. But I understand why the WWE didn't do it. And looking back, what if he would have won the Royal Rumble? he would have been retiring and dropping the world championship. I mean, think about that. Like, what would that have done to the history of the world title? I don't think a lot of people talk about that, and the fact that you know it just wouldn't have made sense, to be quite honest. But I understand why people are mad. But you can't, I mean, hell, if that's the case, then we should have been booing Hulk Hogan back in the day, booing him out of the seats. We should have been booing him every time he came out because we knew what was about to happen. But times have changed, and Roman Reigns, I think he's getting a little better. Now, this past Monday was the last Monday Night Raw, and Roman Reigns was just going through the booze. Now, in my predictions video, I'm going to talk about, which briefly, in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do my predictions video because really I can't talk anymore about any of his matches and how they should have been booked and all this other thing. I may do a how I would have booked it a video, probably before WrestleMania. I will probably do that video and record it to show people how I would have booked the WrestleMania 33, but a little differently. But with that being said, Reigns, I really hope he doesn't win, but I think the story needs to be told here. Because I'm sure I ain't getting him up for no tombstone. It ain't happening. He's going to probably do a power bomb, or I think it'll be a choke slam. I think he'll probably lose by a choke slam. But the thing about it is, but I guess it's just selling for certain wrestlers. I think Undertaker is going to lose, but I think that the match is going to be such, and I think Roman's, it's going to be so slow, and it's going to have to be methodical, and it's going to be that kind of a match. And I don't know how the crowd is going to react to that. I think they'll respect it because of the Undertaker, and after the fact, I think if they're able to give, this should be the last match of the Undertaker, which is what makes a lot of people angry, is that they know that he's probably done. He may have hip surgery shortly after Mania, and maybe he'll have another match against John Cena. That would be awesome. If he has hip surgery and continues to wrestle for 2 or 3 years, I would be amazed. I would be freaking blown away if he continues to wrestle. If you think about this, if he wrestles for 3 decades, he's debuted in 1990. If he debuts and wrestles until, think about this is 2017, right? So 3 more years, it'll be WrestleMania 36. If he wrestles 3 more matches, he wrestles John Cena next year. I don't know who he would wrestle the next 2 years, maybe. It can't be a fast moving match though. That's the thing. So it had to be like an old timer. Um, if he wrestled, I think like Sheamus could probably do a good job um, of wrestling him. Maybe Rusev would be a good match like next year, and then maybe Sheamus would be the person that he puts over for his last time before he retires, and maybe that would be a way to put Sheamus way over, is to have him retire the Undertaker. But they said that Roman Reigns is going to retire him this year, so maybe this is his last match. Maybe that will be what happens, is that he will have his retirements. But if it happens, oh my God, it's the wrong guy. It's the wrong guy. Oh man, it's like both of his losses is going to be embroiled in controversy. If he loses at WrestleMania to Roman Reigns, I don't even need to talk about Roman Reigns in this match. Just how the match will end is what we need to talk about here. Because if Undertaker wins, Roman Reigns will garner respect because he went through that. He let the Undertaker win. All this other stuff. He let Undertaker have one last win before he went out. But Roman Reigns, if he wins, one, the crowd is going to boo the crap out of him. They may throw things. That's how bad. Like, people like The Undertaker. And I'm surprised things really, I don't really think it got thrown too much. when the streak ended. But they were mad, dude. They were, and I don't care if security kicks you out or not. Like that is a match that and it may go on last because that's why I'm here. What I'm hearing is it may go on last because how of importance it is. Since it's the freaking Undertaker for God's sakes, people, and they're treating it like it's nobody. He is the last of a legacy of the Stone Colds and stuff like that. You can say whatever you want about Triple H. Undertaker was the oldest guard of that stuff from that era. Oldest. He's still going, folks. Jericho was on the heels of it. He was somewhat a part of it, but not really. Um, I don't know. It's odd to see Jericho, and I think Jericho's got a few more years left in him. But I think Jericho will understand when to step down and when to step away. But I think he's getting back into wrestling again because what I hear is when he goes away for a while, he'll be back anyway. But jump ahead. Um, so the Undertaker, I really want him to win and kind of try. If they're gonna do this thing, Roman Reigns, try and just garner some respect for him, and I think that would be one. If he loses the match and shakes hand with the Undertaker at the end of the match, and he gets on the mic and he says, "Man, I thought I could beat you. I thought I was the biggest dog in the yard, but you are." And he says something really touching and stuff like that. Maybe the crowd will embrace him. Maybe the crowd will embrace him. Maybe the crowd will respect Roman Reigns. If they go out there and they put on a match that is old style, traditional style wrestling, and they tell a great story, maybe Undertaker is the only guy that can get Roman Reigns over. If that happens, God's sakes, man, I'm gonna be like, dude, why did they do this before? Why did they do this the first year? If they do Roman Reigns like a Royal Rumble, why didn't they have Undertaker come out and screw him? If this happens and it gets Roman Reigns over, if Roman Reigns loses though, that's the thing. Like Roman Reigns has to lose in order to get that garner respect. Be humbled, basically, is what I'm saying. Is they need to have Undertaker humble Roman Reigns, and maybe that's what they're doing because he's been acting really cocky on Monday Night Raw as of late, and maybe that's what they're gonna try and do. Um, but if he loses, if he wins and beats Undertaker, that crowd. And then on top of that, if Undertaker announces his retirement, that's what I think. Like this match can't go on long. This is what I'm saying. The match could happen. It could be possibly a good match, but you just can't wrestle for very long. So they tell a good story. The match ends. Now if that match ends and Roman Reigns, loses, Undertaker could cut that promo after Roman Reigns says what he's going to say. It says, "I respect you. I want to shake your hand." Blah blah blah. They could have that great story right there. Undertaker says, "Yes, I wanted to wrestle you. I wanted to prove to these people out here that you deserve a second chance." And then he announces his retirement. And it is my last match. All he says. You know? And he could even go on to say that, maybe something about John Cena saying, like, "I can never give you the match that John Cena deserves. That's why I did not want to wrestle John Cena this year at WrestleMania." Leave no questions unanswered at WrestleMania. Retire, boom, he goes into the Hall of Fame next year, but that's probably not going to happen. Probably going to be the year after, because Goldberg's probably going in next year. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. It kind of makes more it makes sense, It even should announce it that he's going in the Hall of Fame next year. Um, that could be something the New Day announces that Goldberg's going into the Hall of Fame next year. But that would kind of spoil, so they probably won't do that. Good announce on Raw though. But I think that he's in good graces. He'll go in the Hall of Fame next year. But Undertaker's going to be right behind him, so who knows? So, with that being said, if Roman Reigns wins, and then they do that, and he cuts a speech and talks about retirement, because I just think that they should do something after the match, because the match is probably going to be pretty short. If they don't do something afterwards. I don't know. Well, it'd be really cool. I mean, not all of them can come out. Actually, a lot of them are dead. That's kind of weird. Just not thinking about that. Representing Jimmy Snuka was his first. Uh, 8, who do you wrestle? Jake Roberts, he could come out. 9, I don't even know where Giant Gonzalez is at. He was number 9. 10 was, who did he wrestle 10? Did he wrestle anybody at 10? Who did he wrestle 10? I don't remember who wrestled 10. 11 was Nash. Was it Nash? No. I don't think wrestled Nello either. Probably some random person. 12. I don't know that one either. I don't know some of the earlier ones. I know the ones I know, but they're not alive. Giant Gonzalez is probably still alive. They should duct him into the Hall of Fame. I think that'd be cool. I don't know. Anyways, that's my prediction. You heard everything, all cool and dandy. Crowd will riot probably if Undertaker loses. I'm just saying. It's probably gonna be bad. It's gonna be very, very bad. So WrestleMania is gonna be interesting. That match is probably one of the most matches. That's not even a word. But it's gonna be one of those matches where everybody's gonna be watching intently, wondering what's gonna happen. Nobody knows who's gonna win. I think a lot of people expect Roman Reigns to win. He probably will. But whatever you do, I'm going to end the video. So have fun watching WrestleMania. If you don't get a chance to catch all my other videos, awesome. But have a great time watching wrestling this week. This is one of the best weeks to watch wrestling. There was so much wrestling going on. And if you're going to Orlando, holy crap, you're going to be busy. There's so much stuff going on in Orlando because of WrestleMania. I think every promotion is in Orlando this week, which is a smart business move. But I would hate to be a fan down there because you'd have to pick between certain things because certain things are on the same days. I think somebody even booked. I think it was Ring of Honor even booked the show the same day of same day as NXT. It's like really, really. Even though NXT is pretty good this year, except for the only thing was the main event is kind of like. It's unexpected. Nobody knows who's going to win, so that's about the only thing. Anyways, thank you for watching. Keep rocking and keep on watching wrestling. Oh yeah, brother.